right, it's Inside Boxing Live's Chris Algeri. Shout out to Danny Canobio over there for the Paisans. But Chris, were you out there in New York City yesterday?
I was not. No. I flew in here last night so I could be ready for this for the night anyway. Weigh-ins. Dan was out there. He was there all fight week.
Yeah.
So we did a bunch of shows this week discussing all of that. But interesting night of fights.
What's your, just overall, what were your biggest takeaways from the triple header?
That Teofimo Lopez is awesome. I've been saying he's the guy anyway. In that group of fighters down there. I thought I was really impressed with what he showed, just his levels. Because Barbosa's a tricky guy, man. He makes everybody look bad. And Teofimo came out there and he really picked up his jab numbers. Really, I was really impressed by that because he's normally a counterpuncher. And a lot of times when he has to chase guys down, guys like Barbosa, he has trouble. Not last night. I thought he looked very, very good. He's improving still, which is a good sign. That was interesting. Devin Haney, man, I think he had an opportunity to really take advantage of Ramirez. Ramirez, his feet didn't look great. He looked slow. He was very inactive. I think Haney's going to look back on that fight and be like, man, I could have probably stepped on the gas a little bit more, took some more chances instead of fighting so safety first. And with Ryan and Rollies, both guys are so unpredictable. I actually did a video and I was like, these guys are really hard to analyze because you don't know what to expect from either one of them. Rollies both guys are super explosive. Both guys have power, but also mentally, where are the guys at? And Ryan just didn't look like he was really in the fight. Didn't look like he wanted to be there. I heard that he had mentioned that fighting outdoors was a bit of an issue for him, which, hey, everybody was outdoors, but I get it. It can change the way what you're used to. Fighters are creatures of habit. But I don't know. I don't know where Ryan goes from here. But Rolly, man, I tip my hat to him. I was wrong. I did not think he was going to win that fight. Most people didn't.
Right.
That was the most disciplined I've ever seen him fight.
Yep.
He's a player. He's a player now. I think he hits hard enough. He's obviously he's got some discipline now. We showed that. I don't know what weight class he's going to end up in, but I was surprised, but I'm happy for him.
Yeah. So a lot of talk. I'm just going to ask about each fight, but first the main event. A lot of talk. You see it about Ryan. And this is what he looks like off PEDs. Yeah. And is that fair, unfair? How do you honestly react
Whether it's
to
fair
it?
or it's not, that's going to be discussed. And listen, he had an opportunity to really put that in the rear view. If he had won the fight and looked good doing it, people would have been like, oh, okay, well, he's clean this time, so maybe that wasn't a fluke last time. But now, when you see him look so listless, not as explosive, not as snappy, not as clean, it makes you think, like, is that because of the Osterine that was in his system last time? Was he doing that prior to the fight? It's just going to raise all those questions back up again. And whether it's fair or it's not, it's reality.
When you were fighting, was there ever a strength coach that kind of tried to sway you towards that stuff because the level playing field everybody else is doing? Is that a reality behind closed doors?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant when I speak out that it's way more common than people think. And when I hear about it, I'm never really surprised because when I was fighting, it was swirling all around me at all times. I remember a specific coach asking me about it, and I said, no, I'm just going to work harder. And being naive, not really understanding that it was that prevalent or makes that big of a difference, because it certainly does. But yes, I think it's a much bigger problem than people want to admit.
And then, just talking about Haney, similar to like Ryan and all the talk about the PED stuff with Devin, is he the same fighter? And were there like shades of like Camacho after Haugen, and is it that kind of situation, or let's not go that far? What do you think, Chris?
But I think there was a lot of talk prior to the fight, people like saying that he was shot. I disagree. I was like, he's young. The beating wasn't that bad. It wasn't like this big prolonged beating. Yes, we live in a highlight world, so you only look at the clips. But it was a competitive fight, and Haney was very much in that fight with Ryan. And it wasn't like Ryan wasn't throwing that many punches, so he wasn't taking a sustained beating for a bunch of rounds. So I didn't think he was going to be physiologically shot. But mentally is a whole other thing. Psychologically, it did look like he was carrying a little bit of a PTSD scenario where he's trying to fight a little too cautious. Antonio Tarver did a great job on the call when he noticed the feet of Devin and how much he was moving early on, and wasn't willing to engage, a little bit tentative. But I would rather see that, because I think Devin can get over that, than see him physiologically shot. If his balance was off, if he wasn't taking punches well, certain things like that, that's not really going to come back. But you can get over psychological issues, and I think Haney will. I think Haney has a lot more good to do in this sport. I just would love to see him settle down a little bit. I think he had the opportunity last time to do that, and he missed it.
Yeah, why was he? He's usually his footwork allows him to keep the fight in the center of the ring, and he was turning Ramirez, but couldn't stay off the ropes for the most part. Like what's going on there? What has to be tightened up.
He was just too flighty. His feet were moving faster than the rest of him was, and generally, he's a very good balanced fighter. When he fought Lomachenko, his feet were underneath him. He looked very sturdy. He looked solid. It was a different style. Yes, of course, he had a different guy in front of him. He couldn't bully Ramirez. Ramirez is a big guy for the weight class, and he can punch. But again, I think there were more opportunities that Haney could have taken advantage of based on what Ramirez brought to the table. But listen, this is one of those look good tonight, and then win tonight, look good later.
Do you want to see Teo and Rolly?
I do. No, I want to see Teo and Haney.
Oh, why is that?
I want to see Teo and Haney. I think the buildup will be good. I think they have a history, and I think stylistically it's an interesting fight. Now with Teo unveiling that jab that he showed last night, battle of jabs, two smart, high IQ guys, two guys who are very quick and twitchy. I don't know. I like that fight. I never thought much about that fight, but now that it's possible, I'm in.
Should these guys? This is my last one, Chris. Should these guys that have all come up from 35, Ryan, Devin, Teo, and Rolly, should they stay away from the Boots and the Brian Normans and fight, mix and match a little bit? Yeah,
I think they should all be fighting each other. There's weight classes for a reason. It's just a bridge too far, I believe. Teofimo Lopez, he's not showing the knockout power at 40 anymore. He showed at 35. 35, he was icing guys, right? Hitting guys with the same shots at 40. They're taking it there. He's not a big 40-pounder either. Boots is not only a 47-pounder, true 47. He's a big 47-pounder, probably a 54-pounder, really. So the size difference is there. But on top of that, Boots is not just a big plodding guy. He's a big, twitchy, athletic, fast guy with good power. I just think it's a bridge too far. But I will say, Teofimo Lopez, he's called out other fighters in the past. Lomachenko and Taylor. 2 fights where people heard that and they're like, come on, man, you're out of your mind. And then he goes out and beats them. So maybe he sees something. And Teofimo, I don't know, man. He calls guys out. He gets those fights and he wins. So don't put it past him.
Or a good big man beats a good smaller man. In the case of Boots, Teo, a really athletic, creative, dynamic, saucy big man beats a really good, creative, dynamic, saucy.
Good way to put it.
Anyway, thanks, Chris.
Absolutely.